Welcome to Sterling High School. We're here in the TV studio. I'm Jared Claiborne. I'm joined by Mr. Matt Sheehan and Mr. Jim McCullough, our Director of Secondary Education. Thank you for joining us. We're going to talk about our schedules today, long anticipated. Before we get into that, we're going to take off our masks, our new normal inside the building here. So, Mr. Sheehan, how are you first? Are you well, sir?
We're doing well. End of July, survived the summer, enjoying as much as we can, but also working very hard to prepare for next school year. How about you?
Yes, very, very much so. Excited. The summer has been great. Had a little vacationing in, but yeah, time to get a lot done. Mr. McCullough, how about you, sir? Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, pleasure. Thanks for having me. Summer's been great, balancing family and work, unprecedented time. So it's a challenge that we've looked forward to and accepted and are excited for what we have today.
Very good. All right, Mr. Sheehan, we need some updates on just the timelines of the information that we receive and how we're able to respond, some of the requirements that we need to respond to our stakeholders.
Well, I guess we got to go backwards a little bit. We really fought very hard last year to finish the school year on a positive note, academically, socially, celebration-wise, and immediately. So you figure June 18th, we're done school. June 26th, the governor comes out with his road back plan, 104 pages, that focus on a safe return to school and really predicated around the 10 musts that a district has to do in order to open up safely. They followed that up on July 15th with a template. And with that template were a lot of the ideas from the road back, but also you have to now infuse how does Sterling answer all those questions and how do we open up safely. So that document ended up being about 90 pages long, and that's due, this information is due this week. Throw in there, July 22nd, we got notified by the governor that there's a new parent option for remote learning. So we had to infuse that into our plan. So, it's been a very trying summer. It's been a challenge, and like Mr. McCullough had said, it's a challenge that we think we're up to and that we're prepared for. So at the end of the day, we have to have three plans. You have to have a full remote plan, you have to have a full in-school plan, and you have to have a hybrid plan. Sterling High School, like every other district in New Jersey, has been given the same challenge, and every district is going to do it to whatever needs they think they have to meet best for their population. So, we put a lot of hard work into it. I know that you'll speak about the challenges of the administration and the committees that were organized and the role that they played in setting up our hybrid and remote plans. So getting a lot of advice from the county, from the state, and obviously the CDC to make sure that we are safe for our faculty and our students alike.
And just like they see at home, new information, more updated is coming out. I mean, even just this week we received the most concrete guidance on how to respond when we have a infected case in the building, or if somebody might check off that they weren't feeling well, how do you respond as a school? So that's, we're coming up with a plan after just receiving some of that information as well.
Right, I think that's going to be an ongoing challenge. I think that this is going to be a very fluid information sharing and reaction to different situations that we're going to be experiencing this year. So, that's where you got to be flexible.
Right. So we have three committees, and this is again developed based on the guidance from the county and the state. But we have an instructional committee, which is called our Restart Committee. It's made up of teachers and admin. And then we have a pandemic response team, which is really an extension of our current safety team. And that's going to deal with some of the movements, the check-ins of both staff and students on coming into the school. And then we have a facilities committee, which is we're calling our CARES grant committee, because we had funding and purchases that needed to be put in place in order to make sure that we can welcome people back here in a safe environment. So those are our three major committees that have been working to develop these plans, and we're continuing to work as we get updated information. So with that, we want to dive into some of the proposals with the schedules. So we know that, Mr. McCullough, we have the traditional schedule that's already done.
Correct.
And so that would have been communicated with students and staff throughout the last spring, prepping for this year.
Correct, yes. Prior to closing out the 2019-2020 school year, each student received their course listings, each staff member received their course listings for the upcoming school year. The schedule is complete, and we're going to reveal the schedule in the next few weeks here. I think by August 17th is the time we're looking to make that available to everybody, pending the completion of annual registration, which is new.
Okay, so why don't we take a minute to talk about that?
Yep.
So we're using on-course.
Correct.
Not only is it the 21st century of going paperless, but
Sure.
the safety need to go paperless and not transmitting hard copy. So we're going to use on-course. So
Yeah, we're
tell us.
contactless. So each family of a Sterling student can expect a mailing from us, the administration, for August 17th. And in that mailing, we'll include each student's on-course login information, each parent's login information to On-Course Connect with specific directions to complete an annual registration. Again, this is new. Each student, grade 9, 10, 11, and 12, will need to complete an annual registration done through On-Course Connect, the parent portal, to enroll and to register for this upcoming school year. Most important piece of that is confirming your contact information. Now more than ever, we're going to need accurate phone numbers, required email addresses, as well as mailing address so we can communicate most effectively throughout the school year, depending upon which schedule we have to defer to and react depending upon government mandates. So confirming contact information is going to be number one. The medical cards, which typically have been completed by hand, will be completed online. Our tablet agreement forms, our technology use forms, and all other information that was completed with pen and paper previously will now be done via On-Course Connect. So that will be done electronically. So that window we're anticipating opening on Monday, August 17th, and that will be available through Monday, August 31st, a 2-week window for each family to complete the annual registration. Important note, no student schedule will be accessible until the annual registration is complete. That is important. So in order to access the schedule, you must complete the registration. There will be some questions. This is new for everybody. Please give us a call. Ask questions. We'll be happy to provide answers. And we're working through this together. But this is a new feature. We're excited about it. And it will not be just this year. This will be the new norm continuing from here on out.
Good. Thank you for your effort, you and your team, on that.
Can I jump in? Mr. McCullough has two new members of his department.
That's
You
correct.
wanna introduce them and
Yeah, so we have Mrs. Danielle Dolce, who is the new guidance secretary. She comes to us from St. Joe Hamilton. Very excited about the skills and abilities that she offers. So she's really going to be the face of the guidance office upon entrance for students, but upon also phone calls for parents. Now we also have Ms. Lauren Cooker, who joins us as a guidance counselor, replacing Ms. Swan, from who has retired this year. So Ms. Cooker comes to us with vast experience, a ton of energy. She will be the guidance counselor for letters A through C. Last names A through C will be Ms. Cooker now in replace of Ms. Swan. And we're really excited about what Ms. Cooker offers and brings to the table.
Good. Okay, so 3 schedules. Mr. McCullough talked about the traditional schedule. We don't know which schedule is. It's not like it's a green light right now which one of these happens. That's going to take more guidance from the governor and the state and local, but we want to give you the other 2 schedules. So we're going to go and move on to talk about the remote schedule. This would be a fully remote option where both staff and students will be home. And here's what it would look like. We're projecting here from my tablet. Thank you, Mr. K, Mr. Mays, the tech crew, for allowing us to do that. So a remote schedule. So some of the goals here, obviously safety, the well-being of our students and staff. We're talking about synchronous instruction compared to asynchronous. Mr. McCullough, let's take a minute to talk about the difference there.
Yeah, sure. So synchronous instruction connects students with their teacher doing a live instruction, whether it's Skype or a Zoom platform, but it connects live instruction from the teacher's home and the student's home, okay, during a specific time. Asynchronous instruction is providing students resources, whether it's web instructional videos, PowerPoint, Khan Academy videos, where students then have the ability to receive that instruction, that directives, as well as assignments, but not work at a specified time. Gives them more flexibility throughout the school day. So the balance of the synchronous instruction requires the attendance piece, the face-to-face instruction blended with asynchronous instruction, which would be a homework assignment during a regular schedule.
Right. Good. So again, the priority is safety, well-being. As an administration, we wanted to reduce the overall burden on what that synchronous aspect was going to be. So we limited it to 2 blocks per day. So the schedule ends up being similar to how we finished up in the spring, as is 2 blocks per day. And you can see based on this chart where we have a 9 to 11 shift in the day and a 12 to 2. And then so on Monday and Wednesday, you're going to complete your block 1 and block 2 classes. Tuesday and Thursdays, block 4 and block 5 classes. The Friday, the AM session, we would rotate between the specifics on when you would connect, or maybe it's designed assessment time that a teacher might use, and then the afternoon session will be more specific for the classes that run during the 3A, 3B period. Again, this is your remote. Some of the requirements to add some teeth, because we developed these based on the survey results from both the student and parent survey as well as the staff survey, is that we needed to have some more teeth to value this. So some of those things are specific attendance checks during the block. So if 9 o'clock, that block is starting, the teacher will take attendance during that time. The more consistent synchronous aspect where there is live instruction or direct instruction during those specified blocks with your student and your staff. And then grading policy, which is more concrete, set in advance, which we're using our Restart Committee to develop those grading policies in a specific remote environment. Raising the level of expectation and accountability, which responds to both what the teachers and parents were looking for in the remote.
Right, and I think it taps into the requirements. You have to do 4 hours a day for it to count as a school day for our calendar of 180 days. And we learned a lot from the spring, and that was what we received back from the parents and the staff in terms of how do we do better. And I think that's what we really want to do is if we're in a remote setting, a full remote setting, we think we've addressed some of those areas that maybe we were lacking in last spring.
Good. Now, if we were to do remote or hybrid, which is the next one we're going to talk about, it's half day, there's no lunch being served in the cafeteria, but all students would have access to lunch. We're going to follow up information from the lunchtime portal and our NutriServe rep on exactly how you're going to acquire that, but that would happen on Wednesdays, where students would be able to acquire their 5 days of meals on Wednesdays. So with that, let's transition to the hybrid schedule. So a hybrid schedule is really half the students in the building, half the students at home. Again, the focus is safety, well-being, but a difference here is that we have daily instruction for each block class that's going to be synchronous, that would provide for further attainment of the curriculum. So some of the big keys in this are students participate in each block daily at a specified time. 2 days are going to be in the building, 3 days are going to be home. The students are going to be divided by alphabet. We're going to call them blue and silver. Most people are calling them A-B schedule. We're going to call them blue, silver. For us, that's going to be a Monday, Thursday, blue day, and Tuesday, Friday, silver day, where Wednesday is the day that students will stay remote in their access to the same classes, and it's our focus for deep cleaning. Staff, we're encouraging to still be in the building and designing it so that they can continue to connect. So I'm going to pull up what this schedule looks like. It's a little bit more detailed, and you can see the daily schedule specifically on blue and silver day. So we have a student entry time that begins right at the normal schedule that we would have had on a normal school day, 7:22. And then there's 5 designated student entry times, which we'll disseminate that information later on as our pandemic response team and our CARES team continue to review those procedures. The first class of the day really will be only for those students that are in a 3A or 3B class. So if you're enrolled in one of those classes, then your day is going to start first with a class that's 28 minutes that's beginning there at 7:27. There is a designed homeroom, which is different from our traditional schedule, and that's to allow for the staggered entries of the safety of students coming in, the screening process that's going to be necessary, which we're going to communicate as we get closer. But then you'll see the consistent start times of our main blocks, block 1, 2, 4, 5. So you as a parent know that at 8 a.m., Monday through Friday, your student is logging in at 8 o'clock. Some, half of them, depending on the day, blue or silver, will be in the building, and half will be at home. But they're logging in for that synchronous aspect of what instruction could be during those blocks. Then we're going to dismiss, and again, we're going to have 4 staggered student dismissals beginning at 11:57, and then I'll finish up about 12:09. So it is a half day, and again, the goal is because the ability to provide a served sit-down lunch is just not possible during the climate. Again, that pickup will be on Wednesdays where you can access lunch. You would have to pre-order. That will be available to all students. And then the afternoon during this hybrid schedule is a designed remote piece where, again, our teachers are going to be in the building. Students at this point in the afternoon will all be home, but the teacher can specifically catch up, follow up with those students that may have been at home during that specific day. Maybe the teacher's going to use that time to conduct a small group because maybe they did small group in person earlier in the morning. They want to follow up and do small group with those remote students later, but it gives them a designed opportunity to connect with those. So, Mr. McCullough, tell me, what did I miss in some of the goals here with our hybrid?
Well, I think a couple things with the hybrid schedule is looking at the blue and the silver day, that we are looking to break down the alphabet. Blue would be last names beginning with A through L. That would be the blue day. Silver would be M through Z. The blue day would be Monday and Thursday with the deep cleaning on Wednesday. Silver would be Tuesday and Friday. Again, all students would be fully remote on Wednesday. The terminology for our blocks, we tried to stay consistent. So the way that the on-course system is built is blocks 1, 2, 3A, 3B, block 4, and block 5. We really tried our best to keep that same terminology throughout all 3 schedules, although meeting times may adjust. So it's important to look at the block and then the meeting time on the 3 different schedules.
Good.
And the fully remote portion at the end of the remote portion at the end of the hybrid schedule really is dedicated to meeting with students who elect to be fully remote, students who do require the added instructional time, the individual instruction time, but also individual assessment. We think that reflection upon the spring would be the assessment and the feedback from teachers to students would really take place on that time to gauge individual student learning.
And I think looking at the survey, I think that was one of the biggest pieces that the students had recognized was that individual feedback, that assessment piece. They felt they were given an assignment, there was no due date, they turned it in, never heard anything back from it. So the thing that I'd like to impress upon is they're still getting close to that 80 minute of instruction a day per block. 57 in the morning, 20 in the afternoon, they're getting 77 minutes. That's a good chunk. In most school districts, that's 2 days worth of instruction. And then the live component, whether in class or at home, I think that it satisfies that face time that both staff and students had recognized as something that we can improve upon.
And it's something that we're working through. It's brand new, never been done. And so we have that restart committee with teachers that are going to work together to turnkey and share with their peers on what is the best way to go about managing this. We're thankful that the school district and the Board of Education is committed to this one-to-one initiative that we were already ready for. One of the proactive approaches, though, that we have here is we're going to use Microsoft Teams, which in business, maybe many of you in your work environments have been using. In Teams, it allows us to really connect on that live pace, and teachers can project what they're showing in the classroom, right? Whether you're in the home or at home, it's not going to matter.
So Mr. Claiborne, if you can clarify, my last name, McCullough, I would be in the silver group, which would require me to be in the building on Tuesday and on Friday. What would my responsibilities be on Monday and Thursday?
Well, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Yeah, 3
Correct.
days. So you're out of bed, right? If I didn't have a 3A or 3B class, I'm out of bed, and at 8 o'clock, I'm prepared. I'm sitting in a comfortable place in the home, and I'm logging in. I should be opening right into Teams, and the teacher's going to press the join button, and students are going to be able to log in, and the teacher's going to see that students are participating. Your name, Jim McCullough, is going to come right up in my class list. I'll see that you're there. I'll be able to, as a teacher, either choose to connect with you directly during that time, or I'm going to say, hey, listen, we're participating in this warm-up, or this whole class discussion any of that could happen.
Yeah.
Or maybe as a teacher, I say, okay, now that you guys go at home, I want you to take 20 minutes and work on this assignment. We're going to get back on at 8:30. And then we're going to review it together.
Yeah.
So be prepared for that. So that for you at home, parents at home, you can be sure that 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, those days, they're connecting.
Attendance requirements.
Correct.
Yep.
And just to further that point, if a parent opts for remote learning, they're doing that all 5 days. They don't go to that remote learning schedule. They're on the hybrid schedule, and you have to log on every day as per your schedule for attendance, for academics, for assessment, and everything else. So
That's
they
good.
don't-
So the governor just released that option. You mentioned that before. We're going to follow up with a procedure on how to apply for that, if you will. But yeah, we anticipate that some students and parents are going to elect to try to be home for their safety. But yeah, remotely, and we're in a hybrid, you're connecting daily at those times. That's a great question. Thank you for bringing that up. So with that being said, I want to also talk about, again, safety and well-being. And as an administrative team, together with our Restart Committee, we really wanted to focus on that. And so we haven't been in school for
6 months.
6 months, right? So can we just welcome both staff and students back to this in a normal environment? It's not going to be. It's a special environment. And so with that, we've designed a soft opening, and really it's a orientation experience. So you think of an orientation as, we bring in the freshmen every year, and I'm sure they're anxious to come up here. Well, in the light of this pandemic, we need an orientation for staff and all students. So that's what we're going to talk about, is a Restart orientation. And this is not a finalized document yet, but I want to show you an example of what we can look for in this. So in your calendar, that you can access from the website, you're going to see that September 1st and 2nd are teacher days, September 3rd and 4th are student days. Well, they are going to be student days, but it's going to be remote. We're going to start off in a remote session so that we can facilitate an orientation for the safety and the health and well-being of our staff and students. So we're going to start off by training staff. So that first week, Monday or Tuesday, September 1st through the 4th, is just going to be teachers in the building. Students aren't going to come to the building at all. We're going to train teachers on the procedure, just entering the building. How teachers have to complete the self-assessment, same that students will have to, which we will communicate later. And then we're going to bring in each group of students based on that alphabet, Blue Day, Silver Day, into an orientation experience where they can come on campus safely, understand the procedures, come in at designated times so that we don't have a mass of students here all at once, and then go through stations where they can be trained on checking in, they can be trained on teams, but we also want to offer a welcome back. We haven't seen you. There's a bit of a celebration in that for both our staff and students, and then also a component where we can offer space to talk and communicate about some of the difficulties of remote instruction, being at home all the time, missing friends, and even some of the social injustice pieces that we see that are occurring in society today. We want to offer a space to communicate about those as well.
If in a typical school year, which again, that's going to be one of the things we got to get away from typical and normal. In a typical school year, your first 2 days, you have your staff, you're opening up your building to 150 people. And on day 3, you bring in your students, there's 1,000 people in your building. We can't open up the building to 450 people, open the doors and say, let's have at it. We need to do it slowly, we need to do it responsibly. There's going to be protocols in place to ensure safety, protocols in place to identify sickness and to make sure, again, that we're containing it and we're handling it the proper way. So a lot of information is yet to be developed, and we'll send it out there. There's going to be staging areas, there are going to be certain entry points. So we'll continue to inform you as we develop our plan, but I think that soft opening is going to be really important to creating the new normal and expectations for students and staff alike.
All right, so let's highlight some of the dates and times that they can expect. So really, we have to, per the governor and local, we have to inform all stakeholders 1 month prior. So by the end of this week, you're going to look for more information from us that's related to this video and giving you that information. You can review it. We're going to point you to the website. So if Mr. K, if you will show the website real quick, the main site has a graphic called the road back. If you can click right onto that graphic, you're going to see some of the information. We're going to update this and have the information ready for what we're telling you. But some of the other dates are the mailing. Again, Mr. McCullough is going to come home when?
We're looking for that to be mailed and received by all families prior to August 17th. And that would explain the annual registration that every family is required for, as well as additional information from Mr. Sheehan, from Mr. Claiborne, from your guys welcoming back with the orientation schedule, but the annual registration, well, prior to August 17th. Okay?
Good.
And that is accessible also from the website, Mr. Claiborne, if you can
Okay.
demonstrate that underneath of the picture, the on-course tab.
Okay, let me go back to the home screen.
Pat's doing
And
it.
I'm going to click on course.
Yep, that on-course tab there. So the letter will describe exactly the specific directions on how to register annually, but this is right where parents will access their on-course Connect parent portal
Okay,
account.
very good. So again, if we go into a hybrid schedule, that's a B day, which we're calling blue and silver. Blue is going to be, if you're a blue student, you're A through L,
correct.
and that is you're in the building Monday and Thursday. And if you are a silver student, that is M through Z, then you are in the building on Tuesday and Friday. But note that your students are connecting all 5 days in that hybrid schedule. And then the remote, of course, we're waiting for the governor to give us more guidance on that. What do we miss, gentlemen?
Well, I think the information that'll be forthcoming. You know, we're going to send the video out, the letter out, end of this week, phone call, and again, that reiterates why Mr. McCullough said when you update your information later on for future correspondence, we need to have accurate information so you can be informed and updated and know what's going on around Sterling. We'll also be updating you soon with that remote option. We go hybrid, and we're allowed to go hybrid, you know, for the start of the school year. And for whatever reason you decide to go, you know, my decision, I want to keep my student home. We're going to develop a timeline and procedure so that it's not, you know, we're flipping back and forth every day. You know, we want to make sure that it's set. We have a paper trail. We're following procedures, and that's as per the governor and the state of New Jersey as well. They want us to set up a procedure.
All right, excellent. So this is the max information that we can provide you at that time, and there's going to be more to follow, so you got to remain connected. And with that, we are excited with the opportunity to hopefully see your students back in this building very soon. That is definitely our goal, but we want to do it safely. And with that, we just wish you a great rest of your summer. Continue to be safe and healthy, and we're going to demonstrate, just like we're supposed to, that we are rocking those masks for the school year. With that, so go Knights.
Go Knights.